The amount of whiskey that can be made, privately or commercially, legally or illegally, is in direct proportion to the quantity of grain available to the distiller. And by the 1770s, the changes in farming methods were gradually starting to take effect, greatly increasing the amount of surplus cereals. If the first generation of improvers had been fashion-conscious gentlemen aping the ways of their English counterparts, many of the second were hard-headed and practical tenant farmers. Landowners' expectations of what we would today call quality of life had altered beyond all recognition in a generation, and they could only achieve the standards they expected by either borrowing money or raising rents. That's from Charles MacLean, Scotch Whisky, A Liquid History. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. It just dawned on me today that we've been fed a big pile of steaming horse shit. Not that that should be any different than any other day, because Lord knows we've been force-fed it for so long that it cannot be ignored or denied. But yesterday, I believe it was, I heard a snippet of Colonel Oliver North talking about waterboarding. Maybe it was this morning. Talking about waterboarding and how he went through waterboarding and he actually waterboarded other people, and this was all in the same context and relating to the idea of torture. And the very fact that this remains the focal point of everyone's discussion, both on the right and the left, the so-called right and the so-called left, led me to the disturbing conclusion that waterboarding was put out there simply as a diversionary tactic to divert people's attention away from the real thing that's going on, and that is the real torture. Not discounting the fact that waterboarding is terrible and should not be done, and that there's plenty of evidence to indicate that waterboarding is torture, and that waterboarding, when used, does not give you any valuable information. But it's my considered opinion that the waterboarding fiasco, because it has remained so steadfastly at the forefront of this entire debate, is part of the psy-ops itself. This is an issue that they gave us so that we could focus on. It's horrible enough that people can grasp onto it and say, my God, that's terrible, it's fucking torture, we can't have that. And yet it's not so terrible that we've crossed the line into ridiculousness. So it's my belief that waterboarding is a huge fucking diversion from true atrocities that are going on. Let us not forget that rendition takes place. It has been taking place for years. And these people are being taken to countries where real torture, that which, and I use that term only in this sense, real torture, that which everybody can fucking agree is fucking torture, is being used. And it is my considered opinion that this is the true state of affairs, and that waterboarding has been put out there and has been so publicly brought into our minds that it has clouded us from even considering the possibility that there is further actions of atrocity being committed in the name of this fucking government. And it is my belief that what is going on is true torture that everyone can agree is fucking torture. And it's happening, it's been happening, and it's going to continue to happen. And this entire waterboarding thing is nothing but a way for people to invent the story so everyone can take a side, while it's distracting everybody from looking deeper to realize exactly what is going on, and that is massive fucking atrocities. The truest torture in everybody's mind. There are detainees and people being held who are being inflicted with torture in all manner and in every way, and very probably some have even been killed as a result of this. This is the big secret, and that's why waterboarding remains such a big issue in the news. My considered opinion. Thank you. Good night.